comes to them opposing the carbon dating of what the Hindu side has claimed to be a Shivling inside the Gyanvapi complex?
Sure. First of all, very succulently, very beautifully put by Mr. Kothari. I think he's already put most of the points which are material as far as lawyers are concerned. So to add on to that, I think what is going to be argued on the side of the Hindus is that it is imperative that carbon dating takes place to understand how old the Shivling is and when was it established. Because that could be a material fact that would go to show that before this was a mosque, whether this was a temple, whether this was a Shivling that had been affixed and installed there for times immemorial, even before this turned into a mosque or before Muslim invaders came to India. That is one. The argument against the Hindus, in all probability, might be this, that merely because the stone or the material with which Shivling has been made is prior to the advent of Muslims is no argument to show that this was a temple or not. And probably their argument would be that merely because this is an old Shivling does not goes to show that this was affixed, annexed or attached in this premises at the time when this was made. So these are probably the two arguments, but as Mr. Kothari rightly stated, that what is to be done in any civil matter is that the facts are to be brought to before the notice of the court.
Right.
And facts are like bricks. Every case is like a wall. So this would be a material brick in the argument of both sides. One of the arguments, of course, was whether the court commissioner was required, whether this would be barred by, or whether this would have an embargo as far as the Monuments Act is concerned. But here what the question would be is whether the Shivling which has been discovered at the premises, whether this is, how old is this? That is one. When was it attached, annexed, or when was it installed at the premises? That is second. Because these are very material arguments. If the Shivling is prior to even when the Muslim invaders came here, then any argument about the mosque and when the mosque was made, etc., goes, because there is no conversion. There is only there is only establishment of the fact that a temple has been converted, and that the temple itself exists because the deity itself is inside the temple. And that would be a material argument to make.
All right.
The
sir,
other
just
aspect would be,
yes.
The
Please
other
stay
aspect
with
very
us.
quickly would be that whether if the Shivling is attached there or affixed there or annexed there, then there can be no argument to the contrary that after that we were running a mosque there, because it was, if it is originally a temple, there cannot be any conversion of what is an original structure any which ways.
Yes. So point taken. Yes, our executive editor for politics, Ishwara, also joining us. Ishwara, if you could break it down for us in simple terms, what this essentially means, how crucial is this verdict going to be, if at all we get that verdict of that carbon dating of the Shivling?
Well, if the verdict comes, it is going to be on scientific basis, as we were just being explained, from 500 years to 50,000 years, the exact date of the Shivling, when and if the Shivling was ever installed, or was it there from the beginning. So all of that point, all of those things will be scientifically proved. And that is what even the Hindu side and then the Muslim side is basically contesting. Because one side says that the Shivling was already there, while the Muslim side has been saying that it has just been built, and they say, or they have literally called it a spring, a fountain, and then whatnot. So all of that counters and then anti-counters will be sorted. We have with us Mr. Jai Bhagwan Goyal, who's the International Executive President of United Hindu Front. Jai Bhagwan Goyal जी, आज एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण दिन है, क्योंकि ये जो साइंटिफिक तरीका है कार्बन डेटिंग का, इससे एग्जैक्टली पता लग जाएगा कि कितना पुराना है शिवलिंग। जी, जय भगवान गोयल जी, आवाज आ रही है आपको?
बिल्कुल आ रही है। देखिए, आज अगर ये बात हो रही है कि साइंटिफिक तरीके से इस बात का पता लग जाएगा, तो मुझे लगता है कि पूरे दुनिया को, पूरे देश को ये जानने का अधिकार है, जानने दिया जाना चाहिए। जो लोग भ्रम फैला करके एक वातावरण ऐसा बना रहे हैं कि ये फवारा है, फवारा है, फवारा है, वो सारी की सारी चीजें आज हो जाएंगी। और हमें लगता है कि करोड़ों जो भावनाओं से बार-बार खिलाफ किया जा रहा है, अब ये खिलवाड़ भी होना बंद हो जाएगा जब सारी चीजें साइंटिफिक तरीके से बिल्कुल क्लियर, साफ सुथरी हो जाएंगी। दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी क्लियर हो जाएगा। तो हमें इस बात का पूरा हमें विश्वास है है कि जो भी जांच होगी साइंटिफिक तरीके से उसमें शिवलिंग ही स्थापित होगा। ये तो सारा आधार है, सारे प्रूफ
हाँ,
है,
बोल भाई।
सारा प्रांतीय विभाग जानता है ये भोले बाबा का शिवलिंग है, शिवलिंग था और शिवलिंग ही है। और अब जो ये मंशा इन लोगों की थी वो भी क्लियर हो जाएगी। होने तो जांच ना, बहुत अच्छी बात है, करने तो जांच। और हम कोर्ट का इस बात का सम्मान करते हैं कि कोर्ट हमारी इस बात को मान रहा है और कोर्ट ने इस बात को मान करके